Hey everyone, this is Susan Treadgold, CEO of susantreadgold.com. Welcome to the High Performing Woman Talk Show, where we celebrate the unstoppable force of high achieving women. Join me as I showcase remarkable stories, insights, and triumphs of women from all walks of life who break barriers, inspire change, and redefine success. So get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered. And with that, I would like to introduce Mona Das. She is, and welcome, Mona.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here with you.
No, I'm so thrilled, and I know we're going to have so much fun in this session. Mona is a former Washington State Senator. She's an entrepreneur. She's dipped in her toe in fintech. She is now a movie producer. I mean, I am so excited to hear what nuggets you're going to share today. And I just want to start off. You are super high performing. I mean, wow. Tell me a bit about the person Mona Das. What is it that people don't know about you? I just shared a few things, but what else?
I'm just going to start off by saying thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I'm also going to share that I'm really emotional in the last day. I mean, even when we were just prepping, I was starting to get emotional about some of my answers. And I don't know if it's just I'm, recovering from COVID or what, but I am very emotional, and so I'll just start there. And I think that is something I'm proud of, being able to be a true leader and do all the things that I've done and be emotional and show emotion. Because our childhood, and I'm in my 50s, we were taught not to be emotional, right? Like if
Oh
you want
yeah,
to be a
right.
successful woman, no crying. And
Never
I
let them
think
see you sweat.
that's right. And I think it's one of my superpowers, my empathy, my compassion, and frankly, my emotions. So when you ask me today, what's my greatest achievement? It's being an aunt. It's being an aunt
Oh,
to my nephews. I don't have kids, nor will I ever at 52. And I'm right here, right now in Arizona with my nephews. And I love them so much. And to be able to help shape, obviously, because I'm not with them all the time, the future generation, especially young boys, to be feminists, which my definition of feminism is just equal rights.
right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm so proud to spend time with them and help shape them. It's an honor.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you're talking about that as an achievement. Tell me, what is your definition for you? What is it a definition for you to be a high performing woman? I ask everybody that comes on the show, and everybody has a different answer.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I'm
yeah, I think it's a great question. And when you shared that, when you told me in the prep, like I'm going to ask you this, I was like, oh, I'm high achieving women. Like I don't ever, I don't ever think I'm a high achiever. I know
everyone's they go like, what? Who? Me?
I know I'm an overachiever, right? Like my family story is my family came here from India when I was 8 months old with $6. My father has 5 college degrees. He's actually a genius. He has 38 patents. And so, when you compare yourself to somebody like that, you never feel. I thought I was dumb until I was in my 40s, until my second year of grad school. I just thought I was dumb.
Yeah, it's that quote, the comparison is the thief of joy,
Yeah.
right?
And so when your dad's a genius and you're not good at math and science, you know, I just, I'm glad I realize now that I'm intelligent, but, I always think to
You were
myself,
like a fish being judged on your ability to climb trees,
yeah,
right?
oh God, that's a good one. And
That's
I just think to
Einstein. That's not,
myself,
I
like,
can't take credit for it. That was Einstein.
oh, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, it's like, I think to myself, like, what where would I be? What would my life look like if I knew I was smart from the beginning, right? Like I didn't discover I was brilliant or smart until I was 38. So it's a quandary. Like I'll never know, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm very happy with where my life is now, and
So when
very
you say high performing
yeah.
is really like getting in touch with your own genius?
For me, being and if you're going to call me a high performing woman, I'm going to take the compliment. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to say for me, what it means is never taking status quo, always looking to improve the lives of not only yourself and your family, but others. Like my one of my biggest drivers is to make the world a better place. One of my biggest drivers, having left office, was realizing I was only one person, tooting the horn and screaming from the rooftops. But what if I left office and then trained hundreds and thousands of the next Mona Dasses, right? Like I was the first, woman of color. I was the first woman from Bihar, which is the state that I was born in. I am the first person from the state of Bihar to ever be elected to federal or state office in the United States. And that was in 2018, right? Like we're still
Right.
making firsts as BIPOC women, and it's frankly bullshit and it pisses me off. So the only thing that I could do to make that difference for the next generation was go out and train what I know, what I've learned as an entrepreneur, what I've learned as the not chosen candidate running for office, what I learned from a person who flipped a seat, what I learned as from grad school, like my goal, like it's like legacy. Like I'm 52 now and I'm starting to use the word legacy. I am trying to build my legacy, and what does that look like? And for me, I hope it's that I've inspired young women and young men, but mainly I focus on mentorship of women, other than my nephews, of course. To if I've inspired one to live their what I call BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. It doesn't have to be running for
Yes.
office. It could be whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be
Right.
running for office. It's whatever that thing is for you, that thing that scares the shit out of you. And you know it's a BHAG if it scares you. If it
Yeah.
doesn't actually scare you, it's not big enough.
That's a great definition. I did some work with Jack Canfield. He used that expression, BHAGs, quite a lot. So, um, related to that, what prompted you to run for office to even begin with? Because that's not what you were doing. You were not a
No,
career politician.
no, not
So
even close. Yeah.
you just woke up one morning and it's like Mona for president, Mona for senator. Like what happened?
You're actually 100% correct. And I know the date.
Was
It was
I?
November 9th, 2016.
Interesting. Okay.
We might remember that date is the date that we woke up and realized that Hillary wasn't going to win, wasn't going to be president. And I make no apologies about being a liberal Democrat, so I will just get that out there. I woke up that morning and I kind of like roll out of bed. Like this is a little bit TMI, but I roll out of bed like this way.
That's an expression. Most people roll out of bed.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that day, okay, I literally, I kid you not, and it was like there was a lever underneath my back and I sat straight up. And it wasn't me.
Like in the Home Alone scene.
Something, right? And I'm a very believe in the universe kind of person. Something literally, and I went whoop, and I said, my first thought was, I'm gonna run. And let me backtrack a little
I
bit.
can't believe I
So
guessed that. I was
yeah, let me backtrack a little bit. So I had a dog named Cleveland, and he has, believe it or not, more energy than me. And he didn't like to stop. And he would, if we stopped, he would just pull and bark, like, come on, let's go, mom, let's go, let's go. And I saw a sign. It was a literal yard sign. And it said, Pramila Jayapal for state senate. And about 5 years, maybe 7 years before that, I don't know about you, but I do my best thinking in the shower. I had taken a shower and I was at my brother's house, which wasn't here, was in Cleveland. And I got out of the shower and I said to my brother and my then his girlfriend, who's now his wife, my sister-in-law, I said, I'm going to be a senator. And we both laughed because it's preposterous, right? Like, I'm very classically Indian. Half my family are doctors, the other half are engineers. So for me to say I wanted to be a senator out of the blue, right? Like, I got the download from the shower. It was laughable. We laughed. And, it's just that crazy idea I had, whatever. I put it on the shelf. And we all have those ideas, those crazy ones. Sometimes we bring them down. Sometimes we dust them off. Sometimes we put them back. And sometimes this happens for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever, right? And for me, it was about 10 years. I just didn't think about it. I thought about it every once in a while, every few years. And I'm like, what the hell? That's stupid. So then I see this sign, right? And it's the first time I knew 3 things when I looked at this sign. I knew she was Indian. I knew it was a woman just based on her name. And I knew it said senator. And I get emotional every time I tell this story because I knew if she could do it, I could do it. And this is why I believe representation truly matters. And this is why I run. This is why I ran. This is why I flipped a seat. This is why I work so hard to get other BIPOC women elected. This is why I work so hard to share my knowledge. Most people in politics or in power in general like to hoard their knowledge. I share with anyone. I teach classes. I teach the most important thing in campaigning, which is fundraising, because I'm really, really, really good at fundraising because I have a sales background. So I took my sales skills and translated them into fundraising. And everyone knows, campaign fundraisers will say, talk to their new clients, like, well, who likes to fundraise? And every person will say, Mona Das likes to fundraise.
That's great. I mean, like, related to that, like, in you're running for office, like, what were some of the biggest setbacks or challenges that you had, and how did you overcome them?
Well, thank you for giving people a reason to want to read my book when it comes out. I spilled the tea in the book about all what it's like to run for office, the bullshit people that you meet, the people who are trying to sabotage you, both once you're in office and your colleagues, right? Like, there's so much backstabbing that goes on. And
you're not selling it, Mona.
No. I mean, it's awful. That's why I left. Like, I was there for 4 years and I said, I can't do this anymore. I did it for 4 years. I just decided not to run for reelection. For me, I felt like I had a bigger purpose and a bigger vision, which was to go out and train and teach and mentor and coach. And, you called it motivation earlier, and I like to call it motivation.
Motivation. Okay. I love it. I love it. And so, like, what was one of the biggest things that you had to overcome in your race for the Senate?
The biggest thing to know about politics is that everybody on your ballot is actually chosen for you. You don't know this as a layperson, as a voter, as a citizen, but before Mona Das appears on the ballot, there were 22 months of hard work to get me there. Okay. And I ran for Congress first. And then I found out that there was a chosen candidate. And I didn't it was me. And then I ran for the Senate. Oh, we're echoing. You hear that?
Yeah, it was just temporarily.
Okay,
Keep going.
Okay. So then I dropped out of suspended my campaign for Congress after 6 months, took 2 months off to lick my wounds, and then relaunched a campaign in the same campaign cycle for the state Senate. And I wasn't like, I can tell you I was chosen for that. So that is the biggest lesson in politics that most people don't know, is that everyone on your ballot has been chosen for you. And I will talk. I can talk about that in great detail, but I won't belabor the point now. But it's definitely in my book, upcoming book. So I just
So
you
that's
have.
fascinating. You like going into the Senate race, you knew you were chosen,
I was the chosen one. Yeah, yeah.
and
I was the chosen from my party. I still had to work my ass off to beat the Republican, right?
right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. That's
And I was not
fascinating.
my party's first choice. They asked 20 other people to run. 20 other people said no. Yeah.
Right,
So, and the only reason I was chosen and people thought I could do it was because I was able to raise so much money when I ran for Congress. Um,
right.
so my fundraising is the reason I'm a successful politician, 100%.
Well, like this is perfect for this question. So I
Okay.
would say, like, what strategies or habits have been essential in achieving your success in life so far? So the ability to sell and fundraise is definitely one
Yeah,
of those.
100%.
Um,
I
what was
think
your what was your secret sauce?
I think what draws people to me is my authenticity. Um, which I learned in grad school. Once you discover your true authentic self and how to express yourself as your true authentic self, and you're not afraid of he or she or they, them, you can't stuff it back in. And so I am authentic in all of my interactions. And I will tell you the best compliment I ever received as a politician, and I received a lot, right? I passed 38 bills in 4 years. Like, I did a lot of things. Actually, no, wait, that's not right. It's 28, just 28 bills. I knew that was too high. 28 bills in 4 years, which is
Still a
remarkable.
lot. Still a
It's
lot.
still a
Yeah.
lot, remarkable. But one of the best compliments I ever got, and I will never forget it. And I know the woman who said it to me, her name's Carol Barber. She was a constituent of mine. And she said, "You know what I appreciate?" And this is when I was leaving the Senate. And she said, "You know what I appreciate about you?" She said, "The person that we met when you were running for office, the enthusiastic go-getter, truth teller, say the thing that nobody else would want to say. My campaign, I ran on the principle that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And women and people like me that have been on the menu have been on the menu for far too long." And so she said to me, she said, "The same person that you presented to us as a candidate, that is who you were as an elected official. And you never changed. Your principles never changed. Your
That
values
is
never changed."
rare. That is rare. So that is
And
a
she said,
great.
"As you're leaving office, you are the same person." And I tell you, Susan, it was the biggest compliment
Yeah.
ever.
So
Yeah.
that definitely A for authenticity.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so what other strategies or habits do you think have underpinned your success in life so far?
I'm an
You
immigrant.
got authenticity,
Yeah.
fundraising. Like, getting back, I did
Yeah.
ask, what is your secret sauce to fundraising? It's the authenticity, but I mean, are you asking in person? Are you asking online? Like, what were you doing that
All
people were
all
able
of
to
the
see?
above. My secret sauce was actually what I call Facebook fundraising, and I teach that skill in my classes. I teach at the Women's Campaign School at Yale, which I was a student of in 2016, and then I am now on faculty. So I teach at Yale. I teach at Amur. I mean, I teach this fundraising class a lot of places.
And is that just for politicians, or is that for people that
Well,
are doing charitable causes?
I'm also teaching nonprofits how to fundraise.
Right.
Um, and so that's really fun for me. And it's mission aligned nonprofits. I'm not going to work with a nonprofit that I don't have alignment with. I think I'm an immigrant, right? Like, I just the behavior that was modeled to me was working your ass off, and I just work my ass off. Like I always say, if I'm awake, I'm working. But my actual secret sauce is self care, because I 2 times in my life I've ended up in the hospital because I wasn't taking care of myself. And so I don't do that anymore. And everyone that knows me knows I take my spa time seriously. I take my vacation seriously. I take relaxing.
Yeah, burnout is real. You got
For
to
me,
play the long game,
yeah,
right?
for
If you're
me,
really going to make a
yeah, exactly. For me, self care is also family time, and so I spend a lot of time with my nephews, and my mom, and my families, and my family. So yeah, self care. Don't fuck around. Like self care is extremely important. In fact, I use that metaphor, right? Like you have to put the mask on yourself before you can help others.
yeah, absolutely.
And I learned that the hard way twice.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So,
yeah,
yeah, the universe got your attention now.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was the gift of cancer that got my attention.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about this trailer
Oh yes.
and how it relates to the title of our show, Badass Women Doing Kick-Ass Shit. You actually can't see the whole title in this snap of the picture I took, but tell me about this. I think, filmmaker. Wow.
I am an award-winning executive producer. We've won so many awards for this movie. So I had this
Oh,
idea.
I clicked on the website and kept scrolling and
Yeah.
scrolling. Yeah,
There's a
a
lot of
lot of
awards.
awards.
Yeah, we won 2 Tellys, which is one step below the Emmy, right? And we won 2 of them. It's a huge honor. So I had this concept for a movie called Badass Women Doing Kick-Ass Shit. The very first movie is about women of color, BIPOC women running for office. And it just got out of the festival circuit in October. So we are going to be looking for distribution for the movie. We're also making additional versions. And I'm now launching a TV show called Badass Women Doing Kick-Ass Shit on this platform, on the Zinc platform. Thank you for introducing it to me.
Oh, yes. Excellent. I love this platform. So great. So tell me a little bit about the film and tell me a little bit more about it.
The film features 8 women that are running, were running or were already elected officials across the country. And then we also feature 3 young women, because we wanted to add in the younger generation voices on like their aspirations. And it's a powerful film. I just showed it at ASU. My brother lives in Phoenix, so I showed the film at ASU to a group of students and faculty and professors. And I hadn't seen it in a few months, 6 or 7 months, and so it was just really powerful to watch it again. And what struck me about the movie and what makes me extremely proud of it is that all of us, all 8 of us, because I'm also being interviewed in this movie, our stories are similar. We all ran for different offices. We're different parts of the country. We're all from different parts of, we're all BIPOC women, but different heritages. And our stories are the same. Very, very similar.
What's the same about them?
Just how hard it is. And they always say, like, being a BIPOC woman, especially Black woman, is, just so hard. But then to try to run for office and put yourself out there and put your family out there and be that public about your goals and your values and your morals and your ethics, and having all of that come into question, it's hard. It's really hard. And of the 8 women I interviewed, 6 of us won and were elected, and 2 did not win.
Right. And was there what was the big lesson would you say, from the film? Was there a big lesson, or?
I don't know well, I will tell you what my one of my staff said to me. She flew in for the movie, and she said, and she's a white woman, and she just said, I had no idea how much harder it was for Black and brown women to do anything. That was her sort of takeaway.
Yeah, and what aha did you think she got? What was it? What was the barrier that she hadn't seen before?
Her privilege.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's next for that film?
Well,
So you're having distribution. Tell me what's going on there.
Yeah, so we're having conversations to get the distribution for the movie. So, hopefully Hulu, Netflix, like one of the streaming platforms. And then my goals, I've got, I'm no short on BHAGs. My one big goal for the movie is to do another version, another round of candidates that are running.
Right.
Or we could do badass women doing kick-ass shit actors. We could do badass women doing kick-ass shit CEOs. We could do,
A bit
firefighters.
like the chicken soup for the soul thing. Chicken
100%.
soup for the
Yes.
mother, like badass mothers doing kick-ass shit.
Oh my
Badass
God.
teenagers
Yes.
doing kick-ass shit. Oh yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And so then what I'm doing in the meantime is I'm going to launch the TV show Badass Women Doing Kick-Ass Shit, and I'm going to interview like you were doing. Hopefully you'll be on my show too. Just, badass women who are doing kick-ass shit in all areas of the world and of different disciplines or different fields. And my hope is, and one of my staff asked me today, because she's going to do some training on this platform today. She said, what is your goal? And I said, I just want to inspire one more person. I want somebody.
That's not going to be hard, Mona.
I want to inspire, like, I want somebody else. I want somebody, hopefully a young woman or, woman who's, in her 50s that wants to do something different, right? Like, we can all reinvent ourselves. I've reinvented myself at least 4 times. I like to say I'm like Madonna. I just keep reinventing myself.
I love it. Yeah.
And so my goal is to just inspire the one more person to believe in herself, that she too is a badass woman doing kick-ass shit, and she can live whatever dream it is. It might not be running for office. It might not being an entrepreneur. It might not being a movie producer. It's whatever it is for her, or him, or them, or they. Yeah.
That's great. So, if you, like now you've reinvented yourself 4 times. If you were mentoring the 20-year-old version of yourself, what was 20-year-old Mona doing? What advice would you give to her? What were you doing when you were 20?
Oh, I was in college still. I was in college.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to 20-year-old Mona?
Believe in yourself. The advice that I always end with is something that came to me in a labyrinth. I walked like a labyrinth at this like really great spa in Oregon called Brighton Bush. And my business coach at the time was like, walk the labyrinth with a question. And so I walked the labyrinth with the question. The question was like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And somewhere in that walk of the labyrinth, a little burr got stuck in my foot. And I just didn't want to stop to pull it out. And so I just kept saying to myself, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And when I got to the end, I was still saying, keep going. And so that's my big, big advice that I give people. It's just like, keep going.
Keep going. So many people quit at the 99-yard mark, right?
Yeah.
That's great advice. Perseverance, grit.
Yeah. Grit. Right? Yeah. I'm very much described as having a lot of grit and tenacity by a lot of people. Yeah.
So you just saying like, what's next? What's next? You were asking that. I'm going to, in the labyrinth, let me ask you, what's next for you? I mean, you're talking about maybe the movie, but what else? What else have you got coming up?
I'm working on a book deal. So we've got a literary agent. So we're hoping for a book deal next year or this year. I mean, it's only October 26th. It's still possible. So a book deal, a TV, a distribution for the movie, and the talk show is kind of my BHAG. Like I always said, like Oprah, Ellen, Mona, and so like that's my big BHAG. So meeting you and learning about this platform, realizing, well, hey, I can start my TV talk show right now. Like I don't have to wait. So I'm excited about that. So I am deep gratitude for meeting you, Susan.
Yeah, I know.
And I want to
Likewise.
give a shout out to Global Women and Mira Sula, because you and I met because of we were both at Global Women in
Yeah,
London.
yeah,
And
we were both on
I
the
got
Global
to share
Woman.
that stage with Deepak Chopra, which was, as an Indian woman, it was a dream of a lifetime.
You're referring to the summit in London, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. So, this is your website, Badass Women Doing Kick-Ass
That's right.
Shit. And you know what I loved? I was having a little, peek through it, and you've got all kinds of amazing merchandise,
Oh
like
yeah, the merch
hats
is
and
great. Hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanies, yeah, the merch is great. You can
no,
see
that's
here I
amazing.
got my sticker on my water bottle. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, any parting words? Anything else you'd like to share?
yeah, the other website I'll share is just my monadas.org site. If you want me to come and speak, or if you want to show the movie at your school or whatever. We're using the movie for fundraisers too, for political fundraisers. It's been a really good option for folks. So now that we're out of the film festival circuit, like, we can do whatever we want with the movie, which is really exciting. So that is monadas.org. For
Perfect.
all the other things I do, you can check it out.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, Mona, and your words of wisdom and your inspiration. And I'm looking forward to the book.
And
And
are you motivated, Susan?
I'm totally motivated. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.